Good afternoon, good evening to all the participants present here. We'll start in next few minutes. Thank you.
Welcome everybody. I'm Alka Jha from Patna. I'm heading the Department of English. I was here for the language session also. So those who have been with me for language know. And it gives me an added advantage in this chill of Patna. Holding a webinar is going to be very thrilling. Many of you will actually envy this weather. Those who are experiencing warm weather anywhere. Actually, you have reasons. It's very, very cold over here. But let's warm up this session. Thanks to the government that underprivileged people, and they have provided them with shelter homes and all that. The early morning walk actually gives you that chill when you see these poor people around the pavements and all that. We have reasons to feel very happy that we are the privileged ones. So welcoming you all to yet another session, but this time we are going to introduce the literature. The literature section over here that has been once again bifurcated. So let this webinar be a happy one, not yet another webinar kind of a thing, so that we make the optimum use of the time and the company. This is the literature section, and as I told you, it gives me an advantage. I'm associated with Goyal as an author, and authoring a book and then introducing becomes all the more advantageous. So here goes the literature on the stand and on online. So we will go. What we will be talking about today is what is written here. What is the second semester according to the bifurcated syllabus? The features and pattern of the specimen paper issued by the council. We're going to also discuss the types of questions that the children should be expecting, the features of the questions, and of course the finer details that should give them, all chances of not losing one single mark and scoring full. Yes, we should actually make them aim for full, absolutely 100%. How do we as teachers help our students prepare for the upcoming semester exams? That is going to be our priority, and that's going to be what we are going to focus on in today's discussion. So you can see it right here, it's on the screen. As we all know that the council has split the syllabus. We've been repeating the same thing, but once again, for the academic session that is 2021-22, we are done with one semester, which they wrote in. Now we are here. So you may possibly zoom your screen and see. All of us know, but it's going to be a quick recap of what we are supposed to do. We have the textbook mentioned here. The books remain the same, no change in that. The Merchant of Venice over here, we have the abridged version, of course. We have the Treasure Trove, and we have two compilations. One is poem, and the other one is short stories. So these two are obviously once again going to be segregated, and the poems have also been cut down to a real short length. Scrolling down, you can see that the Little Match Girl obviously is the first on the chart by Hans Andersen. And the second one obviously is the Blue Bead. Going over to poems, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. That was very kind of the ICSE people to keep this poem because it's such a beautiful, beautiful, lovely and thought-provoking poem. And of course, we have the Patriot over here. This satire naturally finds a place, much to everyone's relief. We have the drama of Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare. We have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and Act 4 and 5, you can see over here. But for the second semester, you can see over here the thing that was there. So we are going to take up the second semester and the first semester, we are going to divide. So we are done with that. Same poetry, same prose, and same drama, but the acts are going to change this time. This time we are going to have just Act 4 and Act 5. They are done with Act 1, 2, and 3. So this time we will have Act 4 and Act 5 only. And in the Treasure Trove, obviously, you can see over here, they will have the simpler poem. They'll have Abu Ben Adam, and they will have the 9 gold medals. You can see these two poems. One is comparatively an easier one. Second one is easy, but we will discuss about it in the latter part. We have, of course, we go to the short stories. Again, we have only 2 short stories. You can see the 2 short stories. Number 1, obviously, The Greatest Olympic Prize, and Jesse Owens will find preference. We're going to focus on that. We are done with semester 1 now. So that was a good syllabus, but right now we are not going to indulge in any of the chapters, even though they were too good and too beautiful, but our focus is going to be on the second semester. And of course, the last chapter, and that is All Summer in a Day. These are simply the 2 chapters that we are going to take up only and only for second semester. So the simple advice would be that despite the fact that the syllabus in the first semester, they were so good, But now we are completely going to focus on these two poems, these two short stories, and these two acts. So let us now focus on the second semester. The Merchant of Venice. If you have any query, you can send it in the chat box. And at approximately 4:30, we should be taking care of that. Drama Merchant of Venice, as I said, Act 4 and 5. So please do not spend any time on Act 1, 2, and 3. As I told you, despite the fact that they form the basis of the drama, but we are not at all spending time on that. Prose, obviously, my greatest Olympic prize. As many times we do, all the better. All Summer in a Day, as many times we do, all the better. Abu Ben Adam, despite the shortness of the poem, you know, you do it as so many times, like that's what I do with my kids, that I almost make them learn it by heart. And of course, 9 gold medals. This is such an iconic poem. They can listen to the song also, but right now their focus should be answering the questions. Details of the second semester now. The time allowed as it is, no change in that. It is 1.5 hours. The maximum marks, once again, 40. We are basically recapitulating what we have already been acquainted with. The paper will include 4 sections. Now, this is what has to be borne in mind. Unlike the language paper, now we will have over here, we'll have 4 parts to it. Section A, Section B, Section C, and Section D. In the regular ICSE papers, we used to have Section A, Section B, and Section C. But now we will have Section A, Section B, Section C, and Section D. So we have maximum marks 40. Paper will include 4 sections. Section A obviously includes the 10 MCQs. This is vital. This is vital. You know, many of them are still under the impression that there will be no MCQs. But this time for literature, they are going to have 10 marks MCQ. Please acquaint them with this fact. We are going to have 10 MCQs and all of them are going to be absolutely compulsory. So 10 marks altogether is going to take up the MCQ section. So please prepare your children with even the minutest details in the text, both, you know, all drama, prose, and poetry. Even the minutest, even one word fact has to be taken into account. So let's read, you know, these stories to them as many number of times, make them read as many number of times, so as to almost get every fact very clear in their ears. The pattern over here, once again, there will be 10 questions, as I told you, and the first part is obviously going to be compulsory. This section will carry 10 marks. Section B, drama, there will be 2 choices. This advantage you have when it comes to literature. 2 questions will be given, reference to context questions, out of which the child has this privilege. He can choose either of the 2. This advantage he did not have in language, but over here he has an advantage. There will be 2 questions, out of which the child will be expected to answer 1. Similarly, even in the short stories, there will be 2 choices and the child will be expected to answer 1. In the poetry section also, there will be 2 choices and the child will be expected to answer just 1. That means altogether he is attempting 3 writing questions comprising different sub-questions and 1 MCQ question altogether. But he has to attempt all the sections. That's compulsory. Please, you know, practically hammer this idea into their heads over and over again. Till the last moment they come up with these queries. Can we answer both the questions from 1 section, ma'am, despite the fact that the instruction has been given? So this is very, very important, and they must be made to understand that all sections have to be touched. Yes, so just a pie chart that I have prepared. You have 10 marks, 10 marks, 10 marks. Short stories, 10 marks. We have poems, 10 marks. We have 10 marks. Some questions will come up. Keep your questions ready and we discuss that. Section A, MCQs are mentioned over here. You can see the 10 MCQs will be from all the books. My dear friends, please, some children need to be told over and over again. This is what my experience tells me. 10 MCQs will be from all the 3 textbooks, that is Merchant of Venice and the short stories and the poems. All 3 books, please. Many a time they have this feeling that they will get it only from, you know, drama, which normally is there in the +2 section and all that. No.
4
They will
and
get
2,
these questions from all these 3. All three.
4, 4 and 2, I believe, Alchemist. 4 from drama, 4
Yeah.
from prose, and 2 from
Right,
poetry.
right.
Is what I came
Yes,
across.
that equation, that equation I'm coming to, but I'm
Yes.
telling you one thing, that they have to bear this. And as I told you, sometimes despite so many instructions being given, despite so many things being told, but they will still have questions.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tuesday and avail your courses at affordable prices.
So let us not lose patience and keep, comforting them with this fact that they should not be jittery in case they don't understand one particular question. They do not have that possibility of missing out one section completely. In no case will that be taken into account. Just one question per section, and that is how they are supposed to deal with. Each question in this will carry 1 mark each. That is the MCQ type. And obviously, yes, as you said, that's how the ratio is going to be. Being the author, it is easy. We have introduced we have taken into account the exact pattern that has been introduced. So I'm actually endorsing this book by Goyal brothers, Prakashan. There will be 2 sections. Yes, there are 2 acts over here. So once again, you can see, there will be 2 questions. As I told you, as we have already discussed, there will be 2 questions. Each question will have an extract from the Merchant of Venice. That is, in very conventional parlance, we call it as reference to context question. That's how it is traditionally referred to, as reference to context questions. So this is what they are going to have. They will have the context. They will have the text from the book, and they are going to answer the way they have been answering. They've done it in class 9, they've done it in class 10, so they know it. The only thing is that this time the distribution of marks is going to be a little different. Unlike the 16 marks pattern that we used to have traditionally, we have cut it down to 10 now. Then the student can choose either of the 2. But again, as I told you, he has to do one. Compulsorily, the child has to. That means the child cannot skip any of the 3. That is, short stories, yes. Poems, yes. And drama, yes. They have to study all 3 subjects. They cannot skip any. And then, of course, we have over here the next thing that is being given, and that is, I'll just read it out to you. Like the example, I have just, in the PPT, I have made it even clearer. You can see, I've just cited an example over here. The extract is here. And the marking pattern, you can see, if you just look at the marks division, look at the way the marks have been divided. So this is how it is going to be, unlike what is used to be conventionally. It is going to be 2 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, and 3 marks. And that brings you to 10 marks altogether. With the short story, it's the same thing that happens. We have 2 extracts, out of which, of course, the same pattern will follow. We have 2 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, and 3 marks. But if at all the child chooses one extract, he has to answer all the questions, needless to say that. So this is what actually takes care of. We have the same thing goes with poems, and the same thing goes with short story. Once again, I have just pasted one question, sample question over here, which we have put in our book, as I told you, this book that is there on the stands. So this, I have just pasted one question from that, and you can see once again, it's the same division that follows: 2 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, and 3 marks. And as I was telling you, some children will need to be told over and over again that if they are choosing one question, they must attempt all the sections from that question. They definitely and can never even think of attempting 2 from here and 2 from there. I mean, that sounds a little weird, but some children can sometimes do it. So let us just rule out that possibility. How the child should actually maneuver. Excuse me for the spelling, because that's how the Google takes it through the paper. They must be allowed to, during the reading time, they must make the choices very clear. That's what we had even for language paper. And I suppose all the teachers impress this particular thing very clearly, that during the cool-off time, as I call it very particularly, they must make their mind very clear as to what is the option they are going to go. Not that that becomes a last and final, but this gives them an advantage of cutting down on any wastage of time once they start with their pen. They should also create over here head maps, that goes for a technical expression as to which question they are actually going to attempt. These their time management is very important. As I think as a teacher, otherwise also, regardless of what subject we are dealing with, but time management, I personally say, is life management. So time management, they should actually equate the thing so that they should be able to, they should exactly know how much time. I think most of the examination halls have at least one clock or something, a one timepiece somewhere, in case the child doesn't have a personal watch. And the child should always have an eye on that and accordingly decide his entire writing procedure. Many students get so excited and then they do silly errors. I have incorporated that aspect because this is as per my experience. These things have to be borne in mind. They will start with one thing and then they will feel, no, they can do this better. And then they scratch the whole thing, wasting time, wasting space, and wasting their energy also. So let us prepare our children. That's very, very important. Over here, psychological counseling and, speaking to them constantly will possibly come to their rescue. So we have to keep, assuring them of the fact that keeping their calm during the examination is the best thing to overcome all these things. How do we prepare the audience? The students over here, we can see, should not get confused. I'm not telling anything new. All my teacher friends know. They should not get confused in selection of questions and try to answer the MCQs as soon as possible. As soon as possible, so that they can save 1.5 hours for the 3 remaining questions. They should read the text and workbook thoroughly. That's what I told you in the earlier part of my session, that thoroughly means thoroughly. Every word has to be dwelt upon. These MCQs can be at times very dicey also. So they should read the textbook and workbook thoroughly so that they have proper knowledge to answering any question that is possible, most importantly for the MCQs. Students should be advised over here, see, do the sample practice. Again, that brings me to the point that I'm once again promoting this book practically. Let me be very brutally honest. So these sample books, and of course, any other that is available, or the teachers, sometimes the teachers can also prepare and give it to them. And they should work on these sample questions. Any possible question that the teacher can frame and give it to the students personally also, apart from these samples that are available in the market and all that, that should do them a world of good. So that is from my side as a teacher. I'm just a 31-year-old teacher. So that way you can see this small little experience of mine tells me that the children have to be constantly goaded in that direction. So we are exactly, what is the second semester all about? It is all about the bifurcation of syllabus. It's a quick recap over here, actually. So this PPT just allows you that. The features and patterns of these things we have already discussed. We have also discussed the kinds of questions that we should be getting, the MCQ in the first part, and the regular question based on the reference to context. Yes, students should prepare themselves only and only for the second semester. Tell them very clearly, as I said, that nothing will be asked. They might have studied it well, they might have liked that syllabus, but they are completely going to, leave that aside. And right now, their focus should be fetching more and more marks. We just talked about over here, second semester, the bifurcated syllabus. We also talked about I of course talked about the specimen paper that we from the Goyal brothers have. Because I'm a part of the team, so we have issued questions that are obviously there, and this book deals with every possible question that I could think of, that our team could think of, and we have put them all over here. Yes, we'll go for a quick recap so that I can take up the questions. Yes, it's all here. Once again, the same repetition. You can see the split syllabus tells you over here. We have the first semester also. This is just for your reference, but we are not going to dwell on that anyway. So we will just deal with that. Over here, the Abu Ben Adam and 9 gold medals, poems, please make them read over and over again, They have the advantage of the bifurcated syllabus. So constant repetition will help them to reinforce the entire thing. Merchant of Venice. Okay, Munira ma'am, I'll take care of your questions in the last part of the session. 9 gold medals. We have the greatest Olympic prize for short story, and of course, All Summer in a Day. Act 4 and 5, just one scene here and one long scene and one short scene in Act 4. That should enable them to answer their questions easily. Yes. But as I told you, we have the time, so let us make this optimum use of the time and repeat our syllabus and revise our syllabus as many number of times as possible, both in writing and learning. Yes.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Duty and avail your courses at affordable prices.
So this is very plain. This is very simple. 10 marks, 10 marks, 10 marks, 10 marks. So no change at all. We stick to the same pattern. But it is very different from the language paper. So children have to be told about that. Carry on. Yes, of course. Once again, the same MCQs as I told you. We are just, telling ourselves 10 questions, all compulsory. And as far as possible, they must finish it off at the earliest so that they get ample time for writing sections. Yes. But of course, this is very important. I have explicitly written over there that they must be doing it very, very carefully. Sometimes overconfidence, misplaced confidence, and then land themselves in trouble. And that comes only after they have come out of the examination hall. Sometimes they will just curse themselves why they weren't patient enough. So they have to be. That is important. Just as we teachers have to exercise patience, the children should also be. When it comes to reading questions, we should tell them to be a little more patient. Of course, MOV has options over here. All the questions are there, and I'm sure the respective teachers are taking care of the possible questions on their own in every school, in every class, and in every section. So I have personally a lot of trust in my English literature teacher friends and all that. So that's how it is. I don't think I need to discuss all that. So we have to wish good luck to our children. Lot of course, prayers. I personally believe very strongly in prayer. So we have to keep our children in our prayer, and we must, and also inculcate the same spirit in them. They should also be prayerful. So good luck to my children. Good luck to all of you. If we can be a little more informal, you can pour in your questions so that as far as possible, I should be able to deal with them. No, we should all discuss it simultaneously and together. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Can we take questions?
Yeah, of course. I can read out also, but in case anybody has personally, so you can unmute once. If anybody wants to be unmuted, just send in a request and I should be able to.
We're changing the setting, ma'am.
Yes,
So
please.
participants can unmute themselves now.
Yes. Yes. Let us go ahead and let us enjoy this question answer session. Yes, Charu, can you go ahead?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, my question for reference to context is that as you have said in 2 marks question, like there will be a bifurcation of 2, 2, 3 and 3. In that 2 marks question, what should be the word limit for answering the question?
Good. I think you are voicing for many of our friends, isn't it? Many of them are wanting to, and it was an obvious question that I was expecting. See, as far as I see, yes. So thank you, Chari. Beautiful question. And I think I should be answering many of them that since ICSE does not really specify how many, but as an author, I have seen over here, and as per my discussion with with many of my writer friends across India, we finally settled for like 2 marks over here. And as an examiner also, we were instructed that if it is 2 marks, it is naturally and obviously expected that they should be putting in 2 very valid and very substantial points, right?
All right, ma'am. So 2 marks means
Right. But they should 2 points. 2 points. Charu, I think that this query will take care of many questions. And even if I were in your place, I would have asked this question very obviously, and I was ready for it. So 2 questions, 2 marks, 3 marks, whatever it is. But it is not the, once again, I repeat, it is not the length of the answer that anyway matters as far as literature is concerned. Points have to be substantial. They have to be to the point, no beating about the bush. The examiner is not a fool. So the children should never even think of doing it. That actually, that way they actually lose out on the general impression count. Number one. Number two, yes. Number two, tell them to be very simple with their language. Sometimes very ornamental ornamental expressions, rhetorical devices for answering a literature question isn't actually desirable. This I'm telling you as an examiner.
Right.
Yes. Points are most important. Many a time my experience tells me that the child's answer has been pretty short, but he has taken care of a substantial point and he gets a 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4, So that's important. So, but on an average, if you can see for 2 marks question, that's how we normally equate. 35 to 40 words should be more than enough.
Right.
Yes. That's how we have answered also in Goyal. So you can see we have authored these books. So that's how we have made the answers very precise, very compact and to the point. That's how it is. Same applies for 3 marks question also.
Right.
Same applies for 3 marks question also.
I have another query, ma'am.
Charu, if you don't mind, can I just hold on? There is one question coming in over here. Just, I'll get back to you. Just a second. There is with this question in the chat, whether the rhetorical devices, ma'am is just wanting to know whether the rhetorical devices, once again, if the child deals with Munira ma'am, I'll answer your question first. No, the child doesn't lose mark if the answer is short, but if at all he has dealt with the points that are expected, obviously he is awarded marks. It is not the shortness or the length of the answer, but it is basically the content of the answer that is important. All of us know that. It is the keywords, Famida ma'am, keywords, of course, so that he's able to impress upon the examiner that he has had a good reading of the text. So that's how it is. You can see. So it's not the length of the answer. Let us not be under this impression that, write long answers and you're going to, examiner is not a fool. The examiner is not a fool. So, just beating about the bush is not at all going to help. As far as rhetorical questions are concerned, there was a query here. So I must tell you that unless a particular question on rhetorics is asked, so what is the figure of speech in XYZ line? Unless that is expected, it is not at all necessary. If the child is happy enough to put in, well, I don't think that will either make him lose a mark or fetch a mark, but it definitely will create a better impression on the examiner. Too much of indulgence in rhetoric devices is not desirable. The next question.
Yes, ma'am. I could not attend the last seminar.
No,
regarding paper 1.
Yes.
I have a doubt. I am just new in the ICSE teaching. There's a doubt is it necessary to draw the box for notice writing and email writing?
So no, not at all. Let them stick to the syllabus precisely. The questions are going to be very plain and very straight and simple. I don't think the ICSE will ask you any question relating to historical evidence and all that. Yes. Charu, you were asking some question fast.
Actually, ma'am, I'm new to ICSE board.
Okay.
Right. So if you can just enlighten me that how many marks are to be deducted in a question if the children make mistakes like spelling mistakes and punctuation.
First and foremost, welcome to this fraternity. And we are very proud to have young girls taking over, the mantle that we should be passing over. So it's very, very enlightening to see young people joining this fraternity. So welcome to this fraternity, number 1. Now coming to the point. Charu, we don't have half a mark provision for literature. Is that all right? So either they get it or they don't get it. So there is no deduction. Please keep this secret, open secret within ourselves. We are not deducting any marks as far as language is concerned for the literature paper. Is it okay?
For punctuations, we don't deduct marks.
No, darling. No. Punctuation, even don't tell this to the children, but even for grammatical errors, you are not deducting marks for literature. We have already deducted enough in language. So you can't punish the child for the same error twice. So no, Charu, that's nice. I think
Yes.
you have learnt it.
Right.
Yes. Any other question?
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.
My question was how much percentage we are supposed to look into the grammatical aspect in the literature answer. Thank you so much.
Tuition also, we can't punish the child for one error. We can't punish him twice. So on a serious note, no. You can connect me on my email.
Ma'am, we had taken the unit tests and like the child has answered in just one word. For instance, like if I say, who is described as a friend of sun and sky? And the child has written just tree. So should I award him full 1 mark for that?
Should I whisper this answer in your ear? Please award him marks, but please train him to write full sentences.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Train the child to write full sentences.
Right. Thank you.
You got me?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And don't tell these secrets. This is an open secret between you and me and all of us. Children should be, even though when we go for final corrections and all that, since we are all likely to be entrusted with this responsibility sooner or later, but in literature, we don't deduct. But please don't tell this thing to the children, lest they should be very laxed. So please don't tell these secrets to the children. We must encourage them to use right grammar, right preposition, right punctuation, the right methodology. One thing that I shouldn't be forgetting, they shouldn't be writing in points, the way they write for economics and geography and history and civics and all that. No. They shouldn't be. They should be writing, of course, the points are there, but they will just split it in, at the most in a paragraph or something, but they should not write, they shouldn't make a bullet point or they shouldn't mark an arrow or an asterisk or something. No, they should be writing literature the way literature should be written. I think we have taken care of all the questions possible. Of course, there are many in the chat. I don't think I should be able to deal with them, all of them, but maybe a few I could scroll. Should a student stick to the basic poetic devices? Of course, we've talked about that. We've got the same question. Yes. Will each extract in each section be from one act? Vidya ma'am, I think that question is there over there. Yes, preferably yes. So 2 extracts are most likely, 99.9%, they are likely to be from 2 different acts. Is there a possibility from both the extracts being from the same? This possibility is a faint one, nevertheless, a possible one. So let me not rule out completely the possibility of questions being repeated from the same act, but preferably we at ICSE, when we were sitting down to frame questions, we were told that we must incorporate both the texts, both the scenes when it comes to framing questions. So that's how it is. Any more questions? Yes.
Thank you. I couldn't unmute myself. That's what.
Not an issue. I could understand.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for this. But out here currently, you said that the excerpts which we give for Merchant of Venice need to be from different acts, right? Our sample paper itself carries both the questions from Act 4, Scene 1.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I mean, it is a possibility that both the questions can come from any act, right?
Yes, yes,
It's-
yes.
So
That's what I said.
specifically,
Preferably.
yes. So
I
for
said preferably.
specifically, yes, that's what for specifically Merchant of Venice, we will have to tell them to go through it thoroughly. But
Absolutely.
they can they do a little of selective studies for prose and poetry?
Harika ma'am, you
Yes,
tell me, as a
that's
teacher,
what.
would you suggest that?
No, I'm not
No.
suggesting. I'm just asking for myself. I feel so seeing the pattern.
No.
I
no.
obviously don't suggest that
No.
these things to children, but they come up with all these questions, and you
I know,
are
I
well
can
aware of
understand.
these.
True,
I
true.
obviously
I can
don't do
understand.
it, but yes,
No,
I would like to know
they
your
must
view
not
about
go
it.
for selective, especially if they do. They will be,
Yes.
on that count, the MCQ count, they would be losing in any case.
Yes,
So
true.
I think as a teacher, and these children are so loving to us, so we don't want them to lose even half a mark. So
Actually,
let them study
Actually.
thoroughly. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Covered almost everything. I would like to thank you. So thank you for all the informative session. I think all the teachers have learned something today. And thank you to all our participants who were here. And yes, we are receiving a lot of thank you, ma'am. Thank you messages
you.
for you.
Thank
And
you
yes,
so
we'll
much.
definitely try to come up with more educational programs like this. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all so very much. It was absolutely a very warm feeling for me. God bless.
Yes.
God bless
Thank
you
you.
all.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.